Hello, welcome back. This is episode 9. If you recall, after the Pokemon video that I did, I asked for suggestions for videos, and I had this one from my friend Christian. He and his son watch the videos, and they asked for an Among Us video, so that's what I'm going to do here. I will link the materials I use in this video in the description because that went way too fast, but we've only got 10 minutes to do this video, so I thought I'd push on. So I start off just doing an ink drawing, and I'm doing this with a Copic multiliner, which is 0.5. It's waterproof, so I can use watercolour or inks or anything really over the top, and it's not going to bleed and dissipate and make a big mess of the picture. Once it's dried, so you can work over it with quite a few different things. So if you're looking at this and you're familiar with Among Us, you're probably thinking, wow, this looks nothing like a computer game, and you would be right, it doesn't. However, the background, I'm just doing what comes to mind. It's straight from my imagination, and you know, I think this is a good exercise to do sometimes. It's, you know, it really frees you up. You can literally draw anything that pops in your head. Just draw it straight out on the page with pen. Don't even bother with pencil, because I think you will come up with some quite interesting things that you would never do if you'd had the restriction of drawing with pencil, because sometimes it's quite freeing to just draw with pen. Now, the lines might not be as straight, and it might not be as tidy, and the picture at the end might not be as neat as it might have been if you'd planned it all out and done perspective and, you know, all those sorts of things. But also you might get just a stronger result because it literally just comes straight from your head, and it's loose and it's nice, and you know, you can come up with some quite interesting things. So this is literally just years of me watching and reading science fiction things. So it's a bit out there. And then here I am just drawing one of the Among Us characters. So if you want to know how you draw one of these little guys, it's basically just drawing lots of sausages. One big sausage, two little ones for the legs, and then one for the backpack, and one for the visor. That's pretty much it. Like, they're not too tricky, but it's just practice, I think. Or, I mean, you could draw around a sausage, but I wouldn't advise it. It might get grease on the paper. Don't listen to me. And the leaves, they're just, you know, just leaf shape, really. But I think all the characters have got different, like, head things, haven't they? Well, they don't all have them, but some of them do. It's in like a crown, it's in like a toilet roll. You can tell I haven't played it. But I will. It looks well fun. I've watched lots of Let's Plays, and I did have to do a bit of research. Not that you would know it from looking at that spaceship I've done in the back. But yeah, I looked at some of the backgrounds in the game, and I sort of incorporated a few different elements, but not like the lights of the strip lights along the bottom and the flooring. But the rest of it's just imagination stuff, really. So as I was drawing this wall, it was looking a little bit barren, so I thought a pot plant would look quite nice. So I did a nice shelf, and yeah, just did some sort of plant. I don't know what it's called, but I'm sure I've seen them somewhere. But we're just imagining space. That's a particularly popular kind of plant. And yeah, and I just put some wall panels in behind it. So really, I had no idea where I was going with all this. So, and I think that's part of the fun of just drawing straight on with pen. And I did a lamp above and some pipes, because you know they're going to need water and air and stuff like that to live out in space. Well, he does have a spacesuit on. Ignore the air thing. You may have noticed I do quite a few little lines and dots and just sort of textured marks, and I learnt that from an artist called Giraud, or Moebius as he used to be known. And I mean, a lot of artists do that now. I mean, anyone that's sort of pen and ink drawing, you will see these sort of marks and stuff, and I'm sure he didn't invent it, but it's, you know, sort of thing's been around for years, but he was one of my main inspirations. And yeah, it just gives you a sort of weathered, dirty sort of look, but it also adds to a sort of 3D effect as well. If you add these lines and marks and things like that, it just makes the picture look more interesting as well, I think. So here I'm going in with Liquitex acrylic gouache black, but this is the only bit of the drawing that I use that in. So this is watercolour ink, grey watercolour ink from Ecoline, and that's all I use for the rest of the piece. So with the washes, I'm doing some shadows, but like I'm not going too crazy with this. Most of it's pretty flat, to be honest. I was like, I'll just do washes here and there, and then people can make their own minds up as to what's 3D and what's in the background and what's in the foreground and all that kind of jazz. But this is really quite a quick study. And then obviously, like, the more apparent shadows and things like that next to his legs or her legs, and the foreground is obviously going to be a bit darker. So yeah, I just didn't really think too much about it. The same with the whole thing with this painting was just not to think and just to kind of let the brush or the pen do the work, really. I also like to leave the floor a little bit blank, because I just thought, well, the light's probably going to be projecting somewhere. I wasn't being too scientific with it, but and also on the side of the space person, that's I'd left that white so you can see the light bouncing off of that, and the darker shadows on the opposite side. So yeah, I just don't think too much about it really. So I know I said I wasn't going to do too many shadows and things like that, but I lied, because I did go back to it. And yeah, I'm just trying to flesh out some of the shelf unit and some of the pipes and stuff, and making them sort of stick out a bit, just putting some dark underneath them really, and just going with the flow of the bend and things like that. But oh, here we go, and this is the Posca paint pen. And I think I used the gel pen as well to do stars. So the Posca paint pen does bigger stars, and the gel pen will do tinier stars. and if you ever look at stars in the sky, they're not all dotted about in perfect distances. They're sort of, some are dotted together and some are spaced out. I put a shooting star in there as well to make it look cool. And yeah, that's the finished piece. Thank you ever so much for joining me, and yeah, hope to see you again soon. Thank you.